Hey up, Rock 2004 back with another video for you. This is what I've been wanting to do for a while. I think everybody knows now that my favourite film and series is Jaws. Had it not been for Jaws, my favourite would be Friday the 13th. It's my favourite horror series. I absolutely love them. And probably my second favourite film. There's no probably about it. So, I've decided I am going to do my version of and my ranking of the Friday the 13th films from worst to best. I've seen so many people do this and I don't think I've agreed with one of them. So everybody who's done this is going to totally disagree with me. So here we go. This is my ranking of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All 12 Friday the 13th films. So, coming in last, and at number 12, this is going to come no surprise to anybody, Jason X. I can't stand this film. I hate it. It's more sci-fi than horror, and I despise sci-fi with a passion. However, it does have one of the best kill scenes in the entire series for me. I don't have to go into it. I shall just say liquid nitrogen. Need I say more? That is amazing. Another part of this that I really do like is the Camp Crystal flashback where they trick Jason to think he's back at Crystal Lake, because that is just such an 80s throwback and I love that bit. But apart from that, this should never have been made. I would have been quite happy if I'd have watched this and said, right, we've changed our mind, we are going to shelve this and you'll never see it again. In fact, it raises me a memory because we're going to destroy every copy and there's only going to be 11 films. So there you go. That's how much I love this film. Jesus Christ. Number 12. The 10th in the series, Jason X. Number 11. I do like this film. I don't love it. I expected so much more from this and I didn't get it, which is why it's number 11. Friday the 13th, 2009, the remake. It doesn't feel like a Friday the 13th, and I think that was my biggest problem with it. It did feel like a modern remake, which is what I was hoping it wasn't going to feel like. It's not a direct remake as well, because they try and cram as much in as possible, where it'll have references and flashbacks during the intro and the beginning bit to the original. And it'll show you a few things that happened. And then it kind of brings it up to date. And that, apart from Jason, is basically where the similarities end. Because it's got nothing to do with any of the others. You don't see any reenacted scenes that I remember. It's totally different. Don't get me wrong, it is very, very good. And I do enjoy it when I watch it. But hate this all you want, I don't give a shit. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake is far better than this. I really enjoy that film. It's not the worst film. It's definitely not the worst remake. But for me personally, it's not one of the best remakes, which is what I was hoping for with it being one of these. Unfortunately not. However, I really do like to watch this when we get to it. When I watch the entire series of these, I look forward to them all, except for Jason X, but I can't leave it out. I've still got to include it. I've got to watch it. But this is far better than Jason X. I've seen people put this as their favourite. What the hell planet they're on, I have no idea. But if this is your favourite, then you can't be a fan of the original ones, which is silly, really, but there you go. So my number 11 is the 2009 remake or reboot, whatever you want to call it, Friday the 13th. Coming in at number 10, now we're getting better. I really like this film, and this film has been slated. I don't know why. It does have some really annoying people in it. Yes, it could have been better. We were supposedly going to get another sort of edition of this, like a part 2. Didn't happen, unfortunately. So my number 10 is Freddy versus Jason. If there is any fans of the film out there, it's kind of divided. Some people like to class it as a Nightmare on Elm Street film. Some people like to class it as a Friday the 13th film. I like to class it as a Friday the 13th because as much as I love both of these iconic horror villains, Jason is my favourite. And an excuse for the Friday the 13th film. Although there probably is actually more Freddy in there, but Robert Englund does a great job in this one. And his teeth and makeup in this are quite hideous. The worst part in this for me is Kelly Rowland. She's terrible. I rejoice her death when it happens. It could have been better. It could have been worse. But if you haven't seen this and you've always wanted to, I do recommend it because going with an open mind, don't compare it to anything. I don't think you'll have an absolute blast with it. It's just a good laugh. Doesn't take yourself too serious. But Freddy's nowhere near as bad. He's not corny at all, like he is in part 4 and 5 of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. He's quite evil in this. He does have a sense of humour, but it's more of an evil sense of humour. It's not cheesy like the other ones are. So my number 10, well worth watching, Freddy vs. Jason. Number 9, another one that's not going to be a popular decision. Shit, Don't Give. Funny enough, this is the 9th in the series as well. This film is absolutely slated for no reason. I love this film. The first time I saw this film, it blew me away, particularly the scene in the tent, because I didn't have the unrated Laserdisc. This is also the unrated one, and it is Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. I think this was originally intended to be The Final Friday, and then they put that little bit at the end, which hints at this. I won't say what. So we're expecting that for years, but there was that much carry on. We just ended up never expecting a Freddy vs. Jason, but it happened. But I think because of the end of this, we all thought it was going to take place in hell. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. People's big problem with this, it does have some really bad plot flaws, but then again, nobody has any right to call this or Jaws the Revenge when you will quite willingly go and watch a film about some dickhead flying around in a leather thong with a big S on his chest or little black ears. Batman. Superheroes grow up. You can't like them and then slate this, slate Jaws the Revenge. Just don't slate them. Just stick to your own shit and keep that out, because you clearly shouldn't be watching them if you think that about them. I have an absolute blast with this. There's a particular scene that me and the lads, Keith and Andy, always have a laugh at. And it's a bit with the woman in the cafe, the owner. What happens to her? I shall say no more, apart from... That's all I'm saying. But people's main problem with this, from what I can gather, apart from the thin plot, is the fact that you don't see much of Jason. So what? He's there in spirit. It kind of, he jumps from body to body. It's still as violent. You don't see Jason. Well, you did in the first one. And another one which I won't mention. Shut up. What the hell is wrong with you? Stick to your superheroes and shut up. I find this really, really entertaining. Especially Oh, what do they call the black guy in it? The character. He's amazing. I love him. Oh, I can't remember him. You're all screaming at me now. I know you are. It's not Drayton or something like that. Whatever it is. The main character in this, the young lad, he was in the TV series of Friday the 13th. And he's in this. And he has to go to jail for something. And this black dude's in the next cell. And what he puts him through, it's painful, but you can't help but laugh. This is so entertaining. If you've not seen it, don't let anybody put you off. Watch it and make your own mind up. It does have its fans out there. It really does. I'm one of them. Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Number 8. Now, you'll notice now that all 8 of my top 8 are every single one of the Paramount ones. For me, those 8 can't be beaten. All 8 of them. I love them. But I do have to sort them out, which I like. These, especially the next sort of 3, are very close. So, number 8, the worst Paramount one for me, I suppose, is Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Just because it's my worst one doesn't mean to say it's garbage, because it's not. Unfortunately, the American censors did cut this and the footage was destroyed. However, if you watch the extra features, you do see that deleted gore footage, but it's only on video. But if you can look at the video of it, imagine that the film would have made this such a much better film. It really would. This has also been dubbed basically as Jason versus Carrie, so that should give you a bit of an idea. The doctor in this is an absolute prick. You can't stand him. The main female character, who plays sort of the Carrie-like girl, she can be a bit of annoying. That's her there. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a bonny lass. But she's one of them where, you know, like, something will happen. And instead of, like, going, did you see that? Or, hang on, can I just explain something? She'll just, like, and run out the room. And she'll snap and shout at the wrong people who are, like, looking out for her. So she's actually a bit of a twat. However, it's a damn good film. Fun fact, boys and girls, if you've seen Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Part 3. The little girl with the long blonde hair, who's part of the family, she's in this. Tina, that's what they call the main character. Well, that little girl with the long hair, she plays the younger version of Tina. And you do see her as a child with the telekinetic powers. So you get flashbacks and stuff as well. Overall, though, it's I think it's a pretty solid entry into the series, and I actually really do enjoy it when I watch it. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Coming in at number 7, I have actually seen people, probably the missus being one of them, who say this is their favourite one. Wouldn't go that far, but I really like this one. It's got some stupid bits in it where you think, hang on a minute. But just go with it and enjoy it for what it is. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I love that artwork. A bit like Scream 6, this is supposed to be mainly set in New York, but was filmed in Vancouver. And you'll get all the smart asses going, oh, Part 8, Jason Takes Vancouver. No, Bell End. Jason Takes Manhattan. If you wanted it to be filmed in New York, shut your trap and cough up the money so they could afford it. There's so many film critics out there, they boil my piss. What they like and what they say is right. Everybody else is wrong. Suck my stump. This is a very entertaining film. It mainly takes part on a boat because they're in Vancouver and they are sailing to New York. Can you imagine the cost of filming at New York? Right in the middle of, I think, is it Town Square, whatever, it's not Town Square, where all the lights and all the crap is, and what used to be sort of 42nd Street, where all the porno theatres were. It would be impossible. They do a little bit there, but a lot of it is filmed in Vancouver, which they've doubled up to be New York. I don't fault them for that. They haven't got the money. They made sort of like the best they could do. They made do with what they had. But this is such an entertaining film. One of the best scenes in this. Jason has a fisty fight with one of the teens about halfway through to a bit further on. And it is so entertaining. It's so funny. But this is... I just don't see how people can dislike this. If you're a Friday the 13th fan, it's a little bit different. I don't know how you can dislike it. I do recommend this one. There's a couple of jump things where you think, well, how did that happen? And how the hell did he get from there to there? And like something else happens with Jason. You think, how would that happen? But who cares? You can't moan about shit like this and then go on about how good Alien and all that crap is. You can't. You like what you like. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 6. Now, this is definitely some people's favourite. I will never in a million years personally understand why. This is one of the slowest Paramount titles. And I think it's probably one of the least scary. The title will tell you exactly why. Friday the 13th, Part 3, in 3D. I think because they were filming it in 3D, they were trying to hold back so they didn't give everybody heart attacks. That's the impression I get. There's not many jump scares in this at all. There's one or two, and they're not great. The picture quality of this has never been brilliant. I would love to see this on a 4K, just to see if they can improve it. Because with it being filmed in 3D, obviously they've used 2 cameras, and it shows. However, the 3D version is on here. And to watch it on a 3D TV, it looks amazing. So much better. It's got one of the bonniest final girls in. Not the best, but one of them. And this is the one where Jason got his hockey mask, which I think is why people think it's their favourite. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you all? That's no reason to make it your favourite film, because he got the mask. Some people baffle me, they do. It does show a bit of a chunk of Part 2 at the beginning as a reminder. But the scene that it shows, you've seen it that many times, you're thinking, oh, not this again. If you do have a 3D TV and you've got this and you haven't watched it yet, it does tell you when you watch the 3D version to put your 3D glasses on, but it does warn you that that intro for the end of Part 2 isn't in 3D. But my God, when the 3D kicks in, you do get a surprise. This is a really good film. I do enjoy it. I'm not saying I don't. It's just not my favourite. But I remember the first time I seen this was early 80s, and it was on cable telly. It was at my sister's, and I taped it at her house. Because it just didn't get released until about 86, 87. And it was on cable in 83. This is all the backlog of the video nasties bullshit. So, yeah, never liked it as much as the others, like the earlier ones. But even so, it's still quite high in my rating. Number 6 is Friday the 13th, Part 3. Number 5. This is definitely a lot of people's favourite. This is such a great film. However, for me personally, it's never been my favourite and it never will be. I don't think it's quite as good as what people say it is. Again, this one was cut by the MPAA. a thank you to Blu-ray and DVD and the amazing Scream Factory box set, you do get to see some of the cut scenes now, but they're not part of the film. And this does have an alternate ending as well. This is Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which in English is part 4. They did intend this to be the last one, I think, but it did that well. We have to do another sequel. I didn't get to see this till it got released on VHS in the UK, and it was heavily cut. The end scene with the knife through the eye and sliding down it, that was cut. You don't know how lucky you are in the States. We had our films butchered in the 80s, absolutely butchered, and in the 90s. And this was no exception. Had this finished, this would have been a really good ending. They did leave it open, obviously, but they didn't have to do anything with it because it's nothing a little therapy wouldn't have sorted out. There's some pretty violent stuff in this. There's a bit where somebody gets killed in a cellar. I won't say who it is just in case you've not seen it. And as Jason's attacking, you hear the person shouting, "Run, run, oh God, he's killing me." And I remember the first time I seen that, it knocked me ill. Because in the UK, all that was cut. You've seen like one whack of wherever Jason's got and that's it. But in this, the uncut, well, I'm saying uncut, it was like a few whacks and you heard him screaming for help. So it does have some nasty sequences in this. And the beginning bit with, is it Bruce Mailer from Police Academy and Police Academy 2 and 3 and whatever others he was in, where he plays a right dork. He's like a hospital mortuary worker in this. Oh, and he gets his. That's nasty. But absolutely solid sequel. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Number 4, you're all going to well and truly hate me now. Still couldn't give a shit. This was the first one I saw at the cinema. And my God, I absolutely loved it because this is like, it's a whodunit, basically. This is the one that followed the final chapter. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. It opens with a segment featuring Corey Feldman, who played Tommy in the final chapter, and it is absolutely bouncing down. And then it jumps forward to when that character's older. When you first watch it, this was my experience. I was at the cinema and you had no idea who it was. You assumed it was Jason. And then you were thinking, or is it? People were saying, Jason's back. Then people go, no, it's an imposter type of thing. You don't know until the end. The only giveaway, really, I don't want to say, but it's got something to do with the mask. Because when I first seen it back in the cinema in 85, I was like, no, it's Jason. It is Jason. It's got to be. And then somebody would do something a bit dodgy, thinking, oh, is it them? Is it him? Is it Air? I dare say a lot of people probably won't react like that to it now because this was like 1985. There's a lot more sort of whodunit and surprise reveals, which are more sort of intricate than this, if you like. I love this film. I have such a good time with it. It is so entertaining. Gets a lot of hate. I don't care. I really don't care. I love it, and I highly recommend this. Some of the characters that people hate, I love them, especially Ethel on her motorbike and her dozy ass son. Ethel is amazing. She comes out with some fantastic one-liners. That guy there is playing a character called Vic. He's a psychopath. And I didn't realise this. I wish I could remember how to talk, but there you go, boys and girls. He also plays, is it Death, they call him? The main punk in the car in Return of the Living Dead. That's him. Same actor. I didn't even recognise him. He sadly passed away with cancer. He plays an absolute evil piece in this, and he's a knob in Return of the Living Dead, but apparently, according to the cast in both films, He was one of the most gentlest souls and nicest people you could ever wish to meet. Strange how these people get these parts. Such a sad loss. Because he's absolutely fantastic in this, and he's absolutely fantastic in Return of the Living Dead. Such a shame for somebody so young as well to get cancer. He must have only been in his 30s, 40s. I don't know. He wasn't old at all. What a shame. But yeah, I love this film. I've always loved this film. It's so entertaining. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Number 3. We're into the top 3. And rightly so. A lot of people, this is their favourite. And I can't fault you for it, because this film is absolutely fantastic. I did see this at the cinema as a double bill with April Fool's Day, and I had an absolute ball watching both of them. This is such a fantastic film. It's got comedy in it as well, and it's got a great soundtrack. There's a lot of Alice Cooper stuff in this. Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. How cool is that artwork as well? I'd love that on a t-shirt. Yeah, I love this film. Everybody who likes the Friday the 13th films seems to rate this one quite highly. I don't want to spoil it. You need to watch them all, because like the Tommy Jarvis character who Corey Feldman played, he's back in Part 5 in like some sort of a mental institution, but he's back in this as well. He's still in a mental institution to begin with, but you don't see him driving a car. And in his mind, he's going to end Jason once and for all by digging him up and doing whatever he wants to the body. And it starts like that. But this is also the first film in the series where you see a camp, an active camp, where all the kids are present as well. You see them all turn up on buses and pile off, and their interaction with the camp counsellors. I love this film. It's such a great film. Great soundtrack. I can't praise it enough. It's amazing. Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives.
You dirty, dirty bastard.
Disgusting, you filthy beast!
Number 2. This argues with number 1. That these two are level. I love these two level. But if I have to pick one, the other one I suppose would maybe beat it just by a smidgy. But then sometimes I watch this one and this one wins. It's so difficult. So I am going to go with what I always say. My second favourite one is Friday the 13th, Part 2. This is absolutely fantastic, this film. I love it. It's probably the shortest one in the entire series. I think it's 1 hour and 26 minutes. Yeah. Loads of jump scares if you've not seen this one. Some really, really good death scenes in, even though they're heavily cut. But thanks to Scream Factory, you can now see the uncut death scenes in all their bloody gory glory on this disc. If you go to the special features, they're on there. In the box set, you get a bonus disc. It's not on the bonus disc, it's actually on the Part 2 disc. And it's unreal what you see, what they cut out. It's only on a videotape. There's no volume. But my God, if they'd have put that back into the film, this would have been probably the best one by far. It's amazing what you see. You see Jason with a cloth mask on. And he still has the cloth mask in Part 3 till he gets his mask. But this one, yeah, I only watched this one not so long ago with Andy and Keith, and we absolutely loved it. We're actually watching Part 3 tonight, fingers crossed, I hope. But yeah, this is such a damn good film. I love it to bits. This also was also the first Friday the 13th film that I saw. So thankfully it did have some flashbacks to the original to sort of let me know basically what I'd missed in very brief detail. Amy Steele. She's amazing. I love her. She's one of my favourite Friday the 13th girls. My favourite one is actually Megan. Out of this one, the sheriff's daughter. She's bad. But Amy Steele, she's not only just pretty, she's just, the character's amazing. Amy Steele as well is also in April Fool's Day. But if you've not seen this, oh, it's a jumper. It'll make you soil your leather thong. Friday the 13th, part 2. Last one, finally, my number one favourite Friday the 13th film in the entire series, just by a smidgen, thanks to part 2. Had it not been for Jaws, this would have been my favourite film of all time. So as it stands, this is my favourite sort of slasher horror film of all time, and it's my second actual favourite film of all time. You can't beat it. This is the original 1980 Friday the 13th. What a film. I love this film so much. Not that really anybody bothers with the cut one now, but the good thing about this one is when you open it, you get the original theatrical version on one disc, and you get the unrated, uncut one on that disc. I think that's such a good idea. I tell you what, Scream Factory know their shit and they know what to do. Some of these, if you've got this box set, some of them do have reversible artwork, but some of them don't. Personally, I would like to keep the original US ones because they're my favourite ones. I was supposed to watch this one first, but my nephews and my sister in 1983, they went to the video shop for it and it was out. So they got that one instead of just waiting. I remember it well because we were supposed to be going to the lakes on the night. I'd just finished school on the Friday night, and it was bouncing. The rain was really bad. And so my sister rang me and said, we're not going to go till tomorrow night, but I'm still going to pick you up tonight and you can sleep at our house. Marvellous, yeah. And I'd sneaked to the video shop and got that. What they didn't know is while I was having my tea, I watched The Burning for the first time. Now, that was my first proper full-on gory slasher film since Halloween. And it was watching The Burning, then going to my sister's and watching Friday the 13th Part 2. That was it. After that, that's when I was the massive horror fan. So when I saw this one, oh God, I loved it. I loved it so much, and I still do. Me, Keith and Andy watched this one not so long ago as well. It's just a brilliant film. You don't see your favourite character in it much. There's a reason for that. If you don't know, just watch it before some gobshite tells you, because it's worth watching to see the ending and how it unfolds and stuff like that, but get the uncut one. Paramount released this in the States. I'm so glad they did, because if they didn't, God knows what would have happened to it. And on video over here, it was Warner Brothers who had the distribution rights. I think Warner Brothers do it for the rest of the world, to be honest. When I got this on Laserdisc, which I don't have anymore, I had all Friday the 13th on Laserdisc parts 1 to 9. And that was the last one that got a Laserdisc release. I don't have many more. I'm devastated because mine were all mint. They were still in the cellophane. Plus they were in a polythene liner and they didn't have a finger mark on them. They go for a lot of money now. So whoever got mine, you got an absolute bargain, no doubt. They're so collectible, but it's like having this artwork on a 12-inch record sleeve. That's basically what you get. And I don't half miss them. But yeah, this is amazing. And when I got the Laserdisc, is when I saw it released by Paramount for the first time. And it looked so strange when it came up with the Paramount logo, because I was used to just seeing the Warner one. But yeah, my second favourite film of all time, and for me, the greatest Friday the 13th film, and probably the greatest, or one of the greatest slashers ever made. The original 1980 Friday the 13th. So there you go. That's my ranking of the entire Friday the 13th film series to date. The Scream Factory Blu-ray box set is the ultimate edition you can get. Up to now, there is only the original that's had a 4K release. The remake is up for pre-order now on Arrow Video, the US site only. You can't get it in the UK. But up to now, they're the only two. I'm hoping that they do start doing the others one at a time with all the original artwork again. You do get a bonus disc in this and a booklet at the end of it. And the artwork on this, I've also seen slated. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's not my entire Friday the 13th collection. But I just thought I'd pick this for ease. Because it's got all the original artwork and it's the entire set all in one go. It's upside down. There we are. So that's the Scream Factory Blu-ray box set, and absolutely mind-bogglingly, amazingly enough, you can still get it. I remember the day of release, I was like, yes, order it quick, thinking it was like going to sell out. I can't believe you can still get it. But never mind, it's an absolutely brilliant set. It's a beautiful set. They've remastered them amazing. The Scream Factory Blu-ray looks better than the Paramount 4K. True story. They've really got it on here. And like I said, if you get part 3 in 3D, if you've got a 3D TV. There's a lot of people going to disagree with me, so you're never going to change my mind. What's your ranking? Do a video or comment below and let me know what your favourites are from worst to the beginning. Or if you just want to give me a top 3, I'd be very curious in finding that out as well. See if anybody matches mine, which I doubt very much. Thank you all so much for watching. All 2 of you, I really do appreciate it. And I will see you very soon on the next video. And until then, you all take care of yourselves. Ta-ta.